Today we've got 8 WCW wrestlers who ended their opponent's career in the ring. I know it says 10 on the screen, but the video title says 8, so the video probably got cut down on the original channel from copyright stuff. If you want to show this support either way, click the top link in the description. If you want to react to content with me and my flock over here on Twitch, well, click the bottom link. I've also got a Patreon that has bonus content that I can't upload to YouTube because it's too spicy. We upload it every day over on Patreon, so if I don't upload on the main YouTube channel, guess what? I'm over on Patreon doing stuff. The Patreon is free, by the way. What are you doing? Go, support it, weirdo. Stop being weird. Either way, my flock is ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
WCW wrestlers who ended a wrestler's career in the ring. Finley. Now, it's extremely rare for a wrestler to have just one match in a respective promotion before calling.
Oh, gee. I like his jacket. I don't know why I like his jacket so much. Something about his jacket. I like it, though. Wow. Where'd you get that jacket, Finley? I like that jacket.
Before calling it a day. However, for a wrestler known as Lorenzo, a single match against Finley was more than enough. The match in question occurred on an episode of WCW Saturday Night in 1998, and whilst it could be argued that Finley was stiff with Lorenzo, Finley was simply wrestling the same way he did against anyone else on the roster. It was said that Lorenzo tried to control the match, but with Finley being the wise veteran, this simply wasn't going to happen. Whenever Finley would have any physical contact with Lorenzo, it was evident that he was
Yo, that was way too stiff, bro. What was that?
Wasn't going to happen. Whenever Finley would have any physical contact with Lorenzo, it was evident that he was uncomfortable and he simply didn't want to be there. When the match was over, Lorenzo grabbed his bags from the locker room and proceeded to leave the arena while still wearing his trunks. In fact, he never wrestled ever again. Ultimately, this didn't impact the legacy of Finley, as it was like he wasn't going out of his way to injure or hurt his opponent. Still, it had a lasting impression on Lorenzo. Sting. When it comes to the in-ring career of Rick Rude coming to an end, the majority of wrestlers and fans have never directed the blame towards his opponent Sting, and for very good reason. Rude's retirement came at the most unfortunate time for him, as when Rude pinned the icon Sting to win the WCW International World title in 1994, it would end up being his second to last match. During the match, Rude hurt his back, and we've seen time and time again over the years that back injuries are often cause of significant long-term problems and even retirements. The back injury occurred when Rude received a dive at ringside and he landed awkwardly on the corner of a raised platform. The injury caused such a problem for Rude that he had no choice but to retire. This was a
Dude, that sucks, man. Was he an asshole? Damn. With a mustache like that, I just assumed bro was definitely ready to be a cock. Look, he was definitely ready to be a cock.
major blow for the world of pro wrestling, as the immensely talented star was just 35 years old and had years left before he called it a day in the ring.
Bret.
Steve Austin. During his time in WCW, Steve Austin received the opportunity to work with the legendary Ricky Steamboat. Whilst their matches were well received, one match at Clash of Champions 28 led to Steamboat's WCW career coming to an abrupt end. The injury occurred when Steamboat took a bump off the ropes, and instead of taking a flat back bump, Steamboat took the bump on his tailbone. It was
Is that Steve Austin's fault though? Did we have to stretch the truth here for this video? Cause the Rick Rude entry also seemed like it was like a freak accident thing. Oh no.
It's evident that Steamboat was in agony and his facial expressions were clearly going beyond traditional selling. Steamboat would be forced to give up his WCW US title, and infamously, while still injured, Steamboat was fired by WCW President Eric Bischoff via FedEx. The British Bulldog. It's often been said that the Bulldog that returned to WWE in 1999 wasn't the same wrestler, and this was predominantly down to a career-altering injury that he suffered during his time in WCW. Now, the injury itself would occur at the Fall Brawl pay-per-view in 1998, and the injury wasn't the fault of Bulldog or any of the names in the match. Bulldog would team with Jim Neidhart against the Dancing Fools, and whilst taking bumps in the match, Bulldog landed twice on a trap door which had been set up underneath the ring canvas. This trapdoor was to enable the Warrior to make a special entrance
they had
during
a
the main event,
trapdoor?
and these
Oh,
bumps had
that's
dire consequences for the former European champion, as it resulted in Bulldog developing a spinal infection that nearly paralyzed him. The injury was so severe that Bulldog was forced to spend half a year in hospital, and in typical WCW fashion, whilst Bulldog was recovering, WCW would decide that now was the appropriate
6 months in the hospital, dude? All that fucking saved up money you got, having to go to those expenses, bro? Oh, I don't know, man.
time to fire him. Vader had a reputation for being very stiff in the ring, yet this stiffness didn't often equate to him being dangerous in the squared circle. However, when Vader wrestled Joe Thurman in WCW, things went badly wrong and Thurman would have his life changed forever. The match in question took place in 1992, and the incident occurred during a handicap match featuring the two aforementioned names. During the match, Vader was on the offense, and during a choke slam spot, Thurman landed hard on the back of his neck and head, and to make things
Whoa, man.
offense, and during a choke slam spot, Thurman landed hard on the back of his neck and head, and to make things worse, Thurman then received a devastating looking powerbomb.
Man. Oh my goodness. Nah, the power bomb after is like that's the stamp on top. Like, what the fuck?
Back of his neck and head, and to make things worse, Thurman then received a devastating looking powerbomb. Vader would then break character and ask Thurman if he needed to stop the match. WCW's medical team would attend to Thurman, and the diagnosis was that Thurman hadn't just broken his back, he was partially paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh no, dude. Holy shit.
According to Mick Foley, Vader was incredibly emotional, and he proceeded to follow the ambulance to the hospital to check on Thurman's well-being. Sid: if a wrestler is uncomfortable delivering a move, then they shouldn't be forced to perform that move in question. WCW found this out the hard way in 2001 when one of their top stars, Sid, was horribly injured during the match in the main event of the Sin pay-per-view. Sid would hit a jumping big boot from the middle rope, but when he landed, all his weight came down on his foot. This resulted in one
Shit, man. Oh, even with it blurred, I was like, oh, I think it's oh, this fit unsolicited. Oof.
one of the most traumatizing injuries ever seen on a wrestling pay-per-view. Hell, even on a wrestling show. Sid's leg snapped underneath him and he broke both his tibia and
Not like
fibula.
this November.
The often controversial WCW management team wanted Sid to expand his moveset, and they wanted him to now include a move from the middle or top rope. The former world champion himself admitted he felt incredibly uncomfortable doing anything from the ropes. Sid even noted that he didn't even want to do a double axe handle, which goes to show just how uncomfortable Sid was with the idea.
Yeah, they should.
In a rare W from Eric Bischoff, he decided against showing a replay of the injury on Nitro, and Bischoff reflected on his call on his podcast. You want to be real, whenever a wrestler gets busted open or hurt in the ring, there's always a need to show the post-injury surgery or the severity of the wound, or show themselves get stitched up. I guess that's an effort to prove what they do in the ring is physical, and it's dangerous and real. I guess it's a good thing and necessary thing to just remind people that we're not out here pillow fighting. This is real stuff, and real injuries do happen. There's a certain point where you have to draw the line of good taste. With this, it was a tough call. It really was. The infamous match at Sin was his final ever WCW matchup. Stevie Ray. 1998 was a horrible year for Rick Martell. First in a match at Super Bowl, he would injure his knee in a featured match against Booker T. This was caused by a botched hip toss, a move that is traditionally hard.
Yo, even Booker was like, oh shit. You could definitely see his fucking knee buckle when it hit the ropes, man. Oh my goodness.
Match against Booker T. This was caused
Ah, fuck, man. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's one of those. That's definitely one of
Role,
those.
he would
Man.
injure his knee in a featured match against Booker T. This was caused by a botched hip toss, a move that is traditionally hard to botch. But then after 5 months on the injured list, Martell would suffer a neck injury against Stevie Ray, and this would ultimately force the underrated star to call it a day in the ring. Martell would injure his neck when taking a slapjack move, and when Martell lands, it's horrible to watch, as he looked like he's completely
Well, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one of those, man. That's one of those, man.
out of it. This might have been the first instance where a wrestler was injured by a tag team in 2 separate matches. And of course, Goldberg. Injuries and accidents can happen at any time in a wrestling match.
One had to be
When
here.
Bret Hart was hit by a stiff mule kick by Goldberg at the 1999 Starrcade pay-per-view, it resulted in his iconic career coming to an end. The 1999 Starrcade event was headlined by Hart defending his world title against Goldberg,
I know
and this
he
match
hates
is
this
known
man
for
to
the
this day. He
aforementioned
has to.
kick. At the time, this was seen as a huge match for WCW, and it was seen by many as a make-or-break matchup, as the WCW product was on a downward trajectory, and they needed the match to be a success. Unfortunately, the injury and the bizarre finish did more damage to the status of WCW, and it's a match that fans, as well as Hart himself, wish never took place. In his acclaimed autobiography, Hitman, My Real Life in a Cartoon World of Wrestling, Hart discussed the incident in the matchup. I fired Goldberg into the ropes, and as he reversed me, I heard him called, "Watch the kick." I had no idea what kind of kick he meant, and there wasn't much room coming off the ropes. Goldberg's right foot flew just under my right hand. Wham! It felt like someone shot me with a hockey stick. It was an agonizing blow that sent me crashing to the mat, where I lay holding my neck just behind my right ear at the base of my skull. The botched mule kick gave Hart a severe concussion, and due to this being 1999, Hart continued to wrestle, which made things even worse. The WWE Hall of Famer would later be diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome, and his in-ring career was cut dramatically short. Hart continues to hold a ton of resentment towards Goldberg, and the two are unlikely to ever reconcile. A lot of this resentment has definitely hindered Goldberg's relationship with the fans, particularly fans of Hart, as if it wasn't for that one specific kick, Hart would have been active and healthy way into the early 2000s. But there you have it, folks. WCW wrestlers who ended a wrestler's career. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
That shit was actually crazy. I actually didn't see that match. I've only ever seen the kick from it. I've only ever seen that kick from it. They got some gnarly injuries going on, man. Wrestling is... That is... I'm glad it's a spectator sport for me. I do not wish to wrestle. I say that, but to be honest, if you want to scoop yourself up a wrestler or something, I think that's the easiest way. That's how you got to do it. That's how you gotta do it. Either way, if you guys want to check out the original upload of the content without me reacting all over, go ahead and click the top link in the description. If you want to check out content with me and the flock over here on Twitch, click the bottom link. Go ahead and rewatch the video if you wanted to catch all the promos between our current community chant, Mr. Slick Dragon, and the Mystic Vibes. Either way, I'll be seeing you in the next video, unless you're a bitch. Oh yeah, I got a Patreon with bonus content. Go over there. Go to Patreon. It's free. Thank you so much to those of you that have made it over to the Patreon. I appreciate you.
I'm still hungry.